And welcome to the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. I am Bob Notches sitting alongside Annihil.
Assassinate.
Oh,
Close.
gee.
It's close. It was good. It was good. It was close.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna go Annihilate.
Annihilate is also good.
Nate, I'm so.
You know, and you knew there was a Nate in there, and that's totally cool. But we're gonna
face palm. There's a face palm. Anyway, you are at game number 3 of the season for the Mad Rollin Dolls. We're here at the Alliant Energy Center. We're going to watch the Vaudeville Vixens take on the Quad Squad. The house announcers have just introduced the teams. Little good luck hand slapping and all that good stuff to start things off. And Nate, this is going to be a heck of a game.
That's right.
Right now, we are looking at a Quad Squad team that is undefeated. However, they lose in a heartbreaking manner in game 1 of the season back in January. Then they play without their best, probably without their best player in February in Hammer Abby or Spam.
That's right. That's right.
She was at the World Cup in Manchester
with you,
with me, so she is back. Quad Squad, the only team that has not won a game so far this season, yet they are as dangerous as anybody in the field right now.
That's right. Like you said, previous season 13 champions, but having lost the past 2 games this season. So, will they overcome that? I know they've got a very deep and solid set of skaters, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, Quad Squad is actually, this might be, in the 13 seasons that I've watched the Mad Rollin Dolls, this might be the most parity in talent that we have seen in those 13 seasons. Even though one of these teams could wind up to be the 4th seed in the playoffs, which will begin next month, the 4th seed is against the number 1 seed is no longer a blowout game. That's gonna it's gonna be both games are gonna be great games.
Every single game this season has been a close game, and that means that's good for us, the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, 44 points, which was just done. Of course, this is on tape, but earlier tonight we saw the Reservoir Dolls defeat the Unholy Rollers by 44 points, and that is the largest margin of victory for the season.
Right, and that is actually not typically a very wide margin at all. That can get overcome in 1 or 2 jams.
Yep, you're absolutely right. So we have extremely high hopes for the playoffs this time around. We think it's going to be anybody's. It could be anybody's championship this year. And the thing is, if you enjoy the atmosphere and everything that you're seeing here on television, you gotta come down and watch us play.
You gotta watch it live.
It is such a good time. Bring the kids. It's a family-friendly atmosphere. And our next game is going to be April 7th. Is that correct?
You know what? I know it's in April. I don't have the date memorized. But you know what? Let's say it's April 7th, and if we're wrong, we can.
That's right. You can check it out at madrollindolls.com and find out what the exact date's going to be. But I believe we are going to be at the Coliseum next time. We're in the event center right at the moment.
The Vaudeville Vixens picking up 3 new rookies just for this game, mid-season draft picks. Diaphragm, Evil Elfsies, and Saucy McBossy.
And in an unusual twist, the introduction's apparently being done backward.
Yes.
Which means that if you replay this in reverse.
If you played this in reverse, you'd see that this would be at the end of the game. And
so we'll let the house announcers introduce him here.
Awesome! Number 207, Schlam Chowda. Number 750, Whiskey Chaser. And 7184, Wolframmer. They are coached by Darling Nikki, Tipsy Velvet, Nefarious, and a Smartash. Let's give it up for your Vaudeville Vixens!
So the Vaudeville Vixens, a team that is at 1 win, 1 loss, now ready to huddle on the sidelines, have a couple final words. And they're going to turn around and introduce the quad squad next. All right, we've got both teams taken care of. We're going to get ready to go ahead and start this game.
That's right. We've got Spam lining up to jam for the quad squad, the bad squad, and Black Velvet lining up for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink.
The Black Velvet leading all jammers with 137 points so far this season.
Wow.
And if you've never watched roller derby before in your life, let's take a moment and explain this a little bit. The two players with the stars on their helmet are jammers. They're the ones that score points. And this initial run is for the first to get through to become what we call lead jammer, which Spam has done right there. As lead jammer, she can stop the jam at any time by tapping her hands on her hips. And as she falls there, she will do so.
That's right. Both jammers are eligible to score points, but the lead jammer is the one who kind of dictates when the jam is called off, which is strategically, it's a very important position.
Yeah, it's the only sport where somebody is dealt that advantage. So on the very first pass, they're strictly playing to be designated lead jammer. After that, for every subsequent pass, they score a point for every individual opponent that they pass. And we will see that coming up right now. We've got
Blanche Devereaux skating for the Vixens, and we've got, looks like Upset skating for the bad squad, the quad squad, and it is Upset with the lead jammer.
Yeah, Upset, who's had an outstanding season. And as she looks for a little room on the outside, she's going to roll past one of the Vaudeville Vixens to pick up what's probably going to be she's going to pick up, they're going to give her 3 points. If there's anybody in the penalty box, and there may have been, she receives those points as well the moment she passes, the jammer passes their very first opponent. And we do have a pivot sitting in the box. That would have been one of the points.
Yep. See, we've got lining up on the jammer line, we've got Jocelyn Hell skating in pink for the Vixens. There she is right there. Jamming for the quad squad, Chick Chick Boom. It's like Chick Chick Boom taking lead jammer status.
Yeah, Chick Chick Boom going to find some room on the inside, and boom it is as she is gone. And in the meantime, Vixens starting to close ranks. She's going to call that off, prevent the Vixens from scoring any points. And we've got ourselves a 2-0 run, and that's going to be a 6-0 score at the moment.
That's right. Vixens yet to score any points so far, but we're only 2 jams deep, so it could go either way. Dalek Doll jamming for the Vixens. She's a very strong jammer against Seraphire.
And the Seraphire looking for some room on the she's looking for some room on the outside. Dalek Doll going to go up the center. She's going to meet a 3-wall up front. That's going to be difficult. She's going to take a hit out of bounds. But apparently that hit was delivered out of bounds, so she's able to continue skating.
She's being held up by a wall of pink there.
Oh my! She just gets stamped in turn number 3. And then Dalekdahl caught in turn number 4. Yeah, and she's had a full scoring pass. That's a full 5 points. All 4 blockers and the opposing jammer.
Right, that's what they call it, grand slam.
Dalekdahl right there going to try and get herself over the apex with a leap. Professor Booty going to stick that booty out there, make sure that doesn't happen. If a player is knocked outside of the boundaries, they have to come back in from behind the person that knocked them out of bounds. A lot of times they don't know who that person is, so you'll actually see what we call recycling. You will see them skate to the back of the pack and re-enter it again.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's I guess it's better safe than sorry, right?
Yep. And she's going to get chased. Dalekdahl going to get chased down at the very last moment. She's going to take a hit, but she's going to stay in bounds. And she's going to continue to put up points. Big scoring run. Air Dalek right there lands both.
Yep. That was amazing.
Landing gear comes down. Your beverage service is not interrupted, but yeah, no, she's still out there. And Dalekdahl busting this thing wide open.
19-point jam.
Yep, and they're going to tack 3 more on for that final pass. Those sneaky officials.
Look at that.
And there you see Dalekdahl in the air. As long as she leaves from within the boundaries and lands within the boundaries, it's all good.
Let's see, who do we have here? Once again, we have kind of a replay of the jammers from the first jam. This is Black Velvet in the pink against Spam in the green.
And Black Velvet going to get sent off for a forearm call. That means she's going to have to sit in the penalty box for 30 seconds. So without Vaudeville Vixens having a jammer on the track, they are unable to score. They don't have any chance of putting up any points until that 30 seconds is done and Black Velvet's back out on the track. And there we have Spam, a.k.a. Hammer Abby, who has that calm, easy stride that makes it look so easy. And she makes it look a lot easier than it is, doesn't she, Nate?
She really does. Now, tell me about these shin guards. Are those new for her? I don't know if I've seen her wear those before.
I don't know. I can't say that I know either.
Okay.
Black Velvet there, she's out of the box. She finds some room on the outside.
Well, does she stay in
wow.
that?
She sticks the toe stops in the ground, and as she loses her balance backwards, actually twists in the air to maintain. So she lands the triple sow cow.
That's right.
Which is absolutely impressive, even though she's not pulling points. She earned points with the crowd.
She earned points with the crowd, yes. Look at that. There it is. Boom, 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 boom. Whoop,
right
whoop.
there, that's back on your bottom. That's how that should end.
Yeah. That
right?
should end with a hurt tailbone.
Because you know about that. You skate, my friend. You play this game. Mm-hmm. The chances of being able to reverse yourself in that scenario is pretty unlikely.
Yep.
And we're tied at 22.
That's right. It looks like we have Blanche Devereaux skating for the Vixens against Upset, who is jamming for the Quad Squad. And it is Blanche Devereaux.
Yeah, Blanche Devereaux is going to be out in front. She's the lead jammer. Upset, who has had a heck of a season and filled in with a lot of points last February while Spam was out of town.
All right, we're going to take a break to talk about our sponsors.
And welcome back to the Alliant Energy Center. I am Bob Notches, sitting alongside Assassin Nate.
That's right. You can also call me a Nile Nate.
I won't do that.
That's okay.
I'm not going to. And we are here as the Vaudeville Vixens and the Quad Squad take each other on in the third night of games this season. In fact, this will set them up for their rankings for the local playoffs.
That's right. Quad Squad currently at 0-2 for the season. Vaudeville Vixens at 1-1.
If the Vixens win, they will be the number 2 seed. And the Quad Squad will be the number 4 seed to play the Reservoir Dolls.
Although I do want to circle back to what you said at the beginning, which is all 4 teams are really good this year.
Yeah, even though the Quad Squad has not won a game, they have lost by a very, very slim margins. In fact, the first game it looked like it was in hand, and then I believe it was Shantastic McAwesome that went on a run for the Vaudeville Vixens in the last 1 or 2 jams to steal that one away. As we go back to the current action right now, we see Dalek Doll out there for Vaudeville Vixens. And Nate, can you tell me who the other
Looks
is?
like that's the Seraphire.
And it appears that both teams are running on a 4-jammer rotation, and they're using that same rotation or lineup so far, as we've seen the same pairings each time around.
Right. Game coverage brought to you by Hinckley Productions, leading the way in live HD video streaming and professional commercial video production, supporting the Dolls and Derby since 2008. So thank you, Hinckley Productions.
Can't say enough about everything that Hinckley has done for the Mad Rollin Dolls and roller derby in general.
That's right.
As we see Dalek Doll out there fighting right now up against the 3-wall. Without them being able to come together and brace, that leaves her enough space to get through. Oh, there's a hit.
Yep.
Hello.
Looks like that was Neon took a hit there.
Drops her like a 3-foot putt in turn number 2.
Yep. Neon, she was over in Manchester at the last bout, skating for Team Iran, I believe.
I think you're right. Dalek Doll going to call off the jam. Yes, we are just coming off the 3rd Women's World Cup that took place in Manchester just a couple of weeks ago.
You lucky dog were able to be over there and
I
see
am a lucky dog. Myself and Hammer Abbey, or Spam as you may know her, both of us were able to be over there and announce those games. There were a number of Mad Rollin Dolls representing for various teams that represented their heritage. I believe we had 4 dolls skating.
That's right. Let's see, who do we have here? We have Hammer Abbey. We have Black Velvet. Yeah, they are going on a 4-jammer rotation, aren't they? Both teams.
Yeah, the pairings haven't been altered at all up to this point.
No.
And Black Velvet, if you please, she is through. Little Alana's Miles there, I believe was the name.
Yeah, I'm going to ask her about those shin guards, which is a not very interesting thing to ask somebody. But for some reason, I'm curious about it.
No, I mean, it's actually a great observation because it's not a piece of equipment, protective equipment that we see.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you've been hit there a couple of times with a skate,
yeah,
fix it.
Yep, that's right.
Because you don't forget that.
No.
And here's Blanche one more time.
That's right, against Upset.
Yep. And Upset could be the first one through the pack. She's going to be your lead jammer. Blanche Devereaux up against a wall of 3. And she's going to get some help as they run some interference for her. Nice offensive blocking. That's going to be number 238. Radio Smacktive. Oh, look at that. They got everybody collapsed to the inside of the track.
It was left it wide open.
Upset is goodbye. Blanche right now, she's fighting up front, trying to get through that pack. And she is let go by number 25. Number 9 is going to pick her up, and that is the Trickster.
Yeah, as soon as she passed one, she had to encounter another blocker.
Very, very tight game. And Seraphire going to power her way through on that last pass.
I believe that's Upset.
Or I'm sorry, yes.
Yep, Upset with a grand slam. Taking advantage of this power jam.
And Upset trying to pull Upset. She saw a little bit of daylight, slides off a block, is able to split the 2 up front. and she gets through. Looked like she was going to get caught dead to rights.
Yep, it did look like that.
Little lateral step helps her slide off that block, and she's going to get through. She's looking for some room on the outside, and Nate,
she calls
nothing
it
there.
Yep. She could not get through, but she saw Blanche Devereaux was out of the box and ready to score some points. So she said, nope, calling it off.
And the Quad Squad going to put up a 17-0 run in that jam. 42-29. My friend, why don't you go ahead and run through some of the leading scorers for us?
Yeah, let's see. We've got Dalek Dahl scoring 27 points so far. Blanche Devereaux scoring 2 points so far. On the Quad Squad, both Spam and Upset at 18 points apiece, followed by Sarah Fire with 4 and Chick Boom with 2. Took me a minute to interpret what I was looking at. There's numbers and boxes and
all those crazy things they can do on television these days. And I tell you what, with this, we're going to take a bit of a break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to continue this game. And welcome back. This is Bob Noxious.
That's right. This is Assassinate, and we're in the middle of watching some great derby.
Yeah, we are in the middle of Madison at the Alliant Energy Center. We are in the exhibition halls for this one. A nice crowd, I would say, of over 1,500 people or so. Have shown up tonight as we are watching the Vaudeville Vixens and the Quad Squad play each other. Right now we see Blanche Devereaux. Is that Blanche, I believe?
That's Jocelyn Hell.
Oh.
Jocelyn Hell.
Oh! Jocelyn Hell. She gets dropped by the Smiler.
And then I guess Chick Boom is in the box, but she would be jamming for the Quad Squad. So Jocelyn Hell says, let's go another round.
Yeah. Jocelyn Hell calling out directions to her blockers. Not that she apparently needs any.
So Jocelyn Bell was a scientist. I looked this up after the last thing, and I think that's who she named herself after. So I think that's...
Well, we know that when it comes to roller derby, we all come in all shapes, sizes, forms, and interests.
Yep.
And it's not uncommon to have everything from stay-at-home moms to biogenetic scientists to you name it. They all represent us.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
I know. Here in Madison, I coached the Vixens for 2 years, and I remember that we had our own medical staff. We had a medical intern. We had a physical therapist and a personal trainer.
That's brilliant. That's great.
Yes. And we won a championship. So
well, congratulations to you. I guess belatedly.
Yeah. That was 10 years ago. Thanks, Nate.
Yep, no problem. Yeah.
But we're tied at 42.
That's right.
Terrific game as the Vixens will score 13 points to come back. We've got Spam out there right now. She's up against Dalek Dahl. Dalek Dahl going to get run to the outside of the track, leaving an inside lane for Spam. And here we see Hammer Abby or Spam going to pick up the pace a little bit, knowing that she's got somebody right behind her, and she's going to hit that pack as hard as she can. She will get 1 point out of that. Her hips just simply need to pass the hips of her opponent, and so she's able to get that done. The minute the hips pass and the minute they call off the jam by tapping their hips, the officials have to officially end that jam by using 4 quick whistle blasts. So sometimes if you're wondering, well, she called it off, yet the other person still scored points. Well, the points don't stop being scored until the officials finish those 4. Oh, look at that. As Black Velvet's going to get sent off the track.
If you please.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't see what the penalty was, but she's going to serve 30 seconds. And in the meantime,
we got Upset. Lead jammer. She's saying, let's go.
Yeah, Upset with 130 points on the season. Actually, this matchup of Upset and Black Velvet take the 2 highest scoring jammers in the Mad Rollin Dolls and pit them up against each other directly. Black Velvet leading with 137 points, coming into this game today. And there we see upset. Nice sit block by the pivot. A little butt in the gut there, Nate. And we know that once you do that, you can steer that person anywhere you
That's
want
right.
to.
You own that person when you're butt to gutting.
And upset. Oh, little room on the outside. Going to get those feet moving, but then hits a couple of walls, bounces off. That was, and you know what? It's totally legal for your own teammate to push you or throw you or shove you into whatever position they feel they need to have you at.
Right.
It's. I would imagine it's a really unnerving thing, though, as being that person.
Yeah, if you are being
thrown.
Right.
Yeah. If you are the projectile, Nate, I'm guessing that when you don't expect that coming, it's could be kind of a bummer.
Right. Right.
And there we see upset, and she's got 2 more to get past, but she feels the heat coming up from Black Velvet. She's going to call it off. And that's going to be a 15-2 run in favor of the Quad Squad.
That's right.
Who suddenly jumps to a 14-point lead.
That's right. And it's. I guess I don't have anything to say. I mean, it's a strong showing for the Quad Squad. When after their disappointing first 2 games.
And Blanche Devereaux back out on the track for the Vaudeville Vixens. Blanche Devereaux is going to be your lead jammer. And that's going to be number 8. That should be the Seraphire.
I believe it is. I thought it was the Seraphire, but it's Chick Chick Boom.
Oh. Blanche Devereaux going to call that off. Chick Chick Boom going to be probably hung out to dry. She'll pull 1 point on that. 59-46. So far, the difference in this game, really just 1 jam where Black Velvet had to sit for 30 seconds, while the Quad Squad was able to run up some pretty significant points. But nobody's going to stop. Nobody's going to stop play. Both coaches seem to be happy with the way their teams are playing. They put them back out on the track.
Yep. We've got Jocelyn Hell skating for the Vixens. We've got Seraphire for the Quad Squad.
And Jocelyn Hell, she's going to get them. They can only continue to block until they push outside of 20 feet from the rest of the pack. And at that point, they have to let them go or be penalized, and that's what you saw there. If you wonder why they just pulled back and let her go, it would have been a 30-second penalties for the blockers if they hadn't.
Do you think Seraphire knows Jocelyn Hell's right behind her?
I don't, quite honest. She does now.
Because it seemed like...
It was kind of like you thought you would have heard those skates and those trucks rattling right behind you.
When you do the house announcing, sometimes I felt guilty a couple times in the last. I did the house announcing for the last thing, bout, and I said, "And hot on her heels is so and so," and I felt like I felt bad because I telegraphed that to the person in front.
Yeah. And there we see Dalekdahl is going to start a little ways back as we see Spam try to work herself through on the inside. And Spam, there she does.
She does it.
She's got great footwork, really nice work on her toe stops. She gets moved to the outside. She slips off that block, finds some space, and then gets penalized. So she's going to sit down. Dalekdahl right now going to be on a power jam, which means that she is unopposed by another jammer. And then I think Professor Booty might have been called on that block.
Now, when this happens, we don't have and the lead jammer goes to the penalty box, we end up not having a lead jammer. So this will go the full 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be. It's no pass. They're indicating no pass, no point. It basically means, more cases than not, one of the opponents was out of play. As you see Dalekdahl there with another nice apex, just as kind of a step over. And, yep, she's going to get around that opponent. That block, I believe, continued out of bounds. And Dalekdahl right there. Her team does a nice job, Nate, of just sealing that inside line for her. Just kind of a basketball pick is all that was.
Whoa.
Oh, Dalekdahl, we saw it right there. Skates right on the line. Doesn't go over.
You know who did a good job catching that? Hinckley Productions did a good job catching that. Their camera was right there.
Yeah, that was a perfect shot.
Yeah. Hammurabi takes her. Hammurabi takes the star.
And Dalekdahl is going to call it off. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take ourselves a break. Why don't you go ahead and get yourself something to eat, but don't go too far, because this game has been on fire. I'm Bob Noxious. I'm with Assassinate.
That's right.
Come back, join us at the Alliant Energy Center.
That's right. I got distracted a little bit when he said.
And welcome back to the Alliant Energy Center. Bob Noxious alongside Assassinate. And we are watching the Vaudeville Vixens take on the Quad Squad in the third night of Derby action in the regular season so far this year. And both of these teams competing for their ranking for the local semifinals.
Let's see, we've got out there right now, we've got Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. We have Upset jamming for the Quad Squad. Takes off her helmet cover.
Well,
is she going to pass it? Is she just holding it?
When she takes that cover off, she can hold on to it, but she can also pass it to the player who's wearing the striped out, which is what she does. We call that a star pass. That the significance of the stripe on the helmet is really the fact that that blocker can become the jammer with a successful helmet cover pass, which is what happens.
All right, and
she's putting up points.
Yeah, and that's Jaws.
She's got some moves. I'm thinking, I'm really thinking that Jaws there they need to think about putting her in the rotation.
That was
impressive.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. Look at here she's going past Neon.
And look at that. She's gonna give her a little hip fake to the outside, and then has just enough burst to get through on the inside. Nicely done. And all of a sudden our rotation's been shaken up a little bit.
That's
here,
right. Now we've got Chick Chick Boom matched up against Black Velvet. I like to say, tune to WORT 89.9 FM Community Radio for great underground music and talk. Go to wartfm.org to listen live or on demand.
And as you can see on your screen, we've got Black Velvet coming back into the picture. She's looking to put up points. She does. She's got one to beat. And when you're going backwards and standing pretty much still, you're going to beat that person more times than not.
That's right.
Black Velvet is going to make that pass an easy one. And she does so again. And she's going to put up 9 points. And the Quad Squad, who had jumped out to a bit of a lead, all of a sudden looking at a 31-point deficit. Nate?
That's right. It's just going back and forth on this one, and it's actually.
And we take a look. The graphic has come up. Dalekdahl, no surprise there, leading the Vixens 54 points. Upset, and I'd say no surprise there either. She's leading the Quad Squad with 33.
That's right, and back to the action. We have, it looks like, Ice Pick jamming for the Quad Squad.
First time we've seen her out there tonight.
That's right.
And number 1967, the captain, Jocelyn Hell, for the Vixens.
Ice Pick was one of the skaters who taught me how to skate. When Madison Men's Roller Derby first started up, we had a lot of really great volunteers from Mad Rollin Dolls.
Well, and that really is the beauty of so many of the men's and women's leagues. oftentimes, oh, look at that! We got a ref leap.
Johnny Zebra taking a big jump.
Nice. Sticks the landing, gets a 9 from the Canadian judge. That's incredible. And we've got a team timeout right now. That's being awarded to the quad squad. Of course, this is one of those timeouts that either would have had to occur probably the last jam or this jam. You get down, for me, it was always about 30-point spread that I kind of wanted to reel everybody back in.
Okay.
But 30 to 40 points is about right. They've gone up against some pretty big runs by the Vixens, so this has happened very quickly. And it's just time to kind of get everybody on the same page. And as you know, Nate, Quad Squad wants to gain some momentum going into halftime because oftentimes that carries through in the beginning of the second half.
That's right. Right, yeah. They can, if they can pick up the 40 points here, or start making significant progress towards that, they can continue that, use that energy.
Yeah, you're right. If they get 1 or 2 nice jams in here yet, they'll be in good shape. But Dalek Dahl really doesn't want to have anything to do with that.
Right, she's saying, no, I think I'll just keep being lead jammer.
Dalek Dahl is really interesting to me because she always looks like she's off balance, and yet she doesn't fall.
You know what? I've never noticed that, but now I'm always going to be thinking that.
No, there are just times when I don't know. She just looks. Of course, skating styles vary so much.
Sure.
Hammer Abby with a very technically what you'd call pretty much a perfect style.
Mm-hmm. She's got a very it's a slow stride, but it's not slow. It's fast, but her crossovers are very.
It's very smooth.
Yes.
And sometimes that doesn't indicate speed.
Let's see, who do we have here? We have Upset skating for the Quad Squad, and Blanche Devereaux for the Vixens, and they're off. Both jammers kind of working. It's a very fast pace here, but Blanche Devereaux makes. Who got it?
They're going to give it to Blanche. They're going to say that Blanche's hits past the final blocking opponent first. So even though Upset is the jammer in the lead, she is not the lead jammer. Blanche will, of course, call it off.
Yeah, that's the smart play.
Yep. And she does it quite quickly to try and save a little time. This allows the Vixens to, well, and from their point of view, to potentially put up kind of that morale-killing jam as they go into halftime.
Yeah, it looks like maybe we will probably get 1 or 2 more jams, and then before the half ends.
Maximum length of any jam can only be 2 minutes, and that only occurs when there is not a lead jammer. And as you can see here,
we've got Chick Boom skating against Black Velvet, who makes it look easy.
Yeah, Black Velvet in that particular case, she usually charges pretty hard into that pack. That time laid back just a little bit, saw that everybody had pushed to the outside and slid inside for a wide open lane.
One of my favorite things, one of my favorite things to watch is when the jammer does that signal to her offensive line to tell them which way she wants them to push.
Yeah, it's even better when they follow it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see some really nice blocks that the jammer goes the wrong direction. So we're going to line up this should be the last jam that we're going to see today, and I believe that's Jocelyn Hell up against Spam.
Yep.
Neon in the middle of all that, trying to hold things up. You see her bring Hammer Abby all the way to the back.
Hammer Abby takes her cover off, but she
Yep, she looked to the inside. Everything kind of shifted a little bit. And then she found some room on the outside. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached halftime from the Alliant Energy Center. Well, let's take a look at that last move. Nice shoulder dip to the inside, pulls everybody inside. Then she has that quick first step to the outside. But So from the Alliant Energy Center, you're watching the Vaudeville Vixens take on the Quad Squad. Vixens right now, all of a sudden, the second half of that first period, opening things up a little bit at 112.63. Certainly not insurmountable.
It's
for
not
them to come
insurmountable,
back.
but they're going to have to.
It's starting to, because Quad Squad has not put up big jams. It's going to be difficult.
Right.
But they're definitely still in this game. And so with that, we'll let you go ahead, grab something from the refrigerator, call your mom.
She misses you.
Yeah, what about, pull out all the information you got from, the genetics testing place.
Sure.
It tells you about your third cousin from
Right.
wherever.
Yeah.
You can read all that stuff. I'm Bob Noxious. He's Assassinate.
That's right.
And we'll be back for the second half.
All right.
And thanks for coming back. You are with Assassinate and Bob Noxious.
That's right.
We are here at the Alliant Energy Center for the third set of games of the season for the Mad Rollin Dolls. We've got the Vaudeville Vixens up against the Quad Squad.
Right.
And they are both playing for positioning in the semifinals. That'll happen in April.
That's right. Vaudeville Vixens coming in with 1 win and 1 loss so far. Quad Squad coming in with 0 wins and 2 losses. Quad Squad in this game looked like they were going to.
Yeah.
They had a very strong start to this game.
No, they absolutely did. First half of the first period, it was all Quad Squad, or it was going their direction. Then all of a sudden, Vaudeville Vixens kick it in with a lot of big jams. The second half of that first half. First period, baby.
That's right. We've got.
Too many fractions, my friend. I'm not that good at math.
No, that's why we talk.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No
See,
kidding.
the people who do good at math, they put
do
up the data for us to talk about.
Yeah. They build rockets, my friend.
That's
we announce roller derby.
That's right.
Big difference between NASA and MRD.
That's right. See, we've got Blanche Devereaux out there calling off the jams. Spam.
Although, do you have to agree? A very interesting move that the whole inside line was wide open and she slid to the outside.
It was that was. Did she see that? Did she miss that?
Just kind of interesting. Looked like she was going to have an easy route through the inside lane. Look at that little high five in there in the penalty box. Hey, I got penalized. You too?
You too?
That's awesome.
Cool, we're both in trouble.
Yeah.
What are you in for?
Yeah, exactly. What are you in? How long you in for? And what'd you do?
Let's see, we've got.
Is that Jocelyn Hell?
Jocelyn Hell, yes, and upset.
And Jocelyn Hell's going to get held up by the Quad Squad defense at 3-wall up front. In the meantime, upset is off to the races.
That's right. Upset. Off to the races is right. The upset was the only horse to ever beat Man of War in a race. That's a little horse trivia for you.
Yeah, and a pretty good name at that.
Yep.
Or she could be just simply upset.
She could be just simply upset.
Yeah, we don't know.
Let's talk about something. Lauer Realty Group says Dolls kick ass. Off the track, Lauer Realty Group is ready to jam for you in all your real estate needs. Lauer Realty Group, located at 2229 Atwood Avenue, or online at lauerrealtygroup.com.
And there we go, that's Spam, and a.k.a. Hammer Abby, with a very quick move around the outside.
What's going on with her? Something's going on with her skate.
Oh, she picked up some track tape?
It looks like something like that.
What? Or almost looks like a Velcro strap. Yeah. That could have been very dangerous if it got caught in the wheels. We know
smart of her to call off the jam, I guess, but what was...
Yeah, you can see there she's kind of upset with the fact that a piece of her gear came off, but fortunately didn't get caught in the wheels. That tape or anything like that in the wheels is a really unfortunate way to break legs and ankles.
All right. Speaking of upset, we've got upset back out there. Jamming for the Quad Squad. Dog Doll, she's jamming on a post because Dog Doll is in the
penalty box.
Yep.
And I tell you right now, Upset making this look easy. Oh, pivot! Didn't even think she knew she was there. Turned her head at the very last moment. Was able to knock her out of bounds. Nice hit.
Yep. That was Neon who did that.
Yeah, Neon's really been a force in that pack for the Vixens.
Sure. She was in Manchester during the last game as well, skating. I already said that. I already talked about that. Team Iran.
That's right. That actually, Dalek Doll right there indicating that she wishes she had a face visor.
And
she took an elbow in the nose, I think. Upset with that with the backward crossovers there at the end. There's a girl in Detroit, Jessie girl, who can skate as well backwards as she does forward, and
really?
She does it all the time.
Really?
It's so fun to watch her skate. To watch her jam is just such a pleasure.
Let's see who we have here. We've got Jaws.
And Black Velvet. And Jaws, who we talked about, who I'd said in the first half, they'd handed her a star pass and she was the pivot. And I said, doggone it, she looks so good, they should put her out there. Apparently somebody listened.
You know, I think they listened to you and they said, Bob said.
Yeah, and now she's got to hand it off. And that's going to go to number nine. The Trickster.
Yeah, the Quad Squad's picking up some points this half. I wonder what they talked about. Oh, did you see that?
That was nice.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, Nate, so much of Derby today is being able to spin off of blocks, where it used to be much more of a power versus power situation. You almost have to relax your body in order to naturally spin off of people like that. Not that I've ever done it on purpose.
Sure.
By accident a couple times. Look at that, right there. Hinckley's gonna nail that one for us. Hinckley Productions, big thanks to them. Been supporting Mad Rollin' Dolls forever.
Yep.
And roller derby in general. We love Hinckley Productions.
Who do we have here? Blanche Devereaux and against Spam / Hammurabi.
And Devereaux, you know one thing about Blanche, nothing fancy, but she always keeps the feet moving, and as long as you keep the feet moving, you've always got a chance for something to break loose.
Sure.
And she really has the ability to leverage the other blockers, and with the foot movement, move them apart enough that, because she's actually deceptively pretty fast. And with that end of that jam, we're going to go to commercial. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. And welcome back.
We're back.
I'm Bob Noxious, sitting alongside Assassinate. We are at the Alliant Energy Center. Welcome as you are watching the second half of the Vaudeville Vixens and the Quad Squad of the Mad Rollin' Dolls, as we are in the third set of games of the regular season. And as we get back to the action right now, it looks like we've got
the Seraphier for the Quad Squad up against Jocelyn Hell for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Yep, and Seraphier is going to be lead jam, something Quad Squad needs right now. And Nate, look at that. We're only 21-point difference, or sorry, 41-point difference after a bigger spread coming out of the half. So the Quad Squad being able to make up some ground.
That's right, and I believe Jocelyn Hell is in the box, so this is affording the Quad Squad some
as much as I try to stop saying ooh when I see people get knocked down like that, it's just a natural reaction. Because you hear the whole crowd.
The whole crowd's like, doing it.
Ooh. Yeah, because the one place you don't want to fall when your derby skater's on your backside, because there's no protection. And I know my partner in crime here assassinates skates with the Madmen in Madison. And of course, us guys, we fall backwards. There's nothing.
There's nothing back there.
I got nothing
There's
to fall
nothing.
on.
Me neither.
I don't know about you, but
nope, it's not absolutely
I'd
nothing.
be done. They just put me to the emergency room in traction.
Yep.
I just strap. I think I take a bungee cord and a pillow and just strap it on me.
They were saying, one of the first things we were learning, I asked, like, what's the best way to fall backwards? And they said, don't.
Yeah. Yep, you've got two options: break your wrists or your coccyx.
That's right. Quad Squad picking up 14 much-needed points there against the Vixens, who picked up 5 points there. So closing that gap, we now have a 32-point game.
Yeah, we went into halftime with about a 60-point differential.
Right.
So the Quad Squad, with only 10 minutes into the second half, have reduced that to half of the deficit it was, and they are immediately back in this game. They're only, realistically, they could be 2 jams behind, and that's it. And things got started, and then we heard a lot of whistles. Would appear that we have an official timeout.
Okay. I guess I'll talk about another of our sponsors then.
Yeah, let's pay
talk
a few
about,
bills.
Yeah, pay some bills. Pabst Blue Ribbon proudly sponsors the Mad Rollin' Dolls. So PBR yourself ASAP at a nearby concession. What'll you have?
PBR, my friend.
That's right.
And because you know what? PBR has been with us and with so much of roller derby since Flat Track's inception back in 2002. And as we see Quad Squad, another lead jam. Dalekdal being totally harassed at the front of that pack. She's got 3 blockers to contend with. And goodbye, there goes Upset. So Upset is not only in front of her, Upset has already gone on a scoring pass. Dalekdal has not. Upset right now trying to direct the pack. She's got the Vaudeville Vixens at the back. Is she going to be able to get in and score a couple of points? She does, and she calls it off. Very well played by Upset.
Before, she saw Dalekdal was on her hot on her wheels, coming up, and thought.
So she pulls 2 points out of that, meaning that there was somebody in the penalty box. The minute that they pass the first opponent on a scoring pass, they also get points for anybody that is in the penalty box at that time. She pulls 2 points on that final run, so she gets a point for the one person she passed and one person sitting down. Of course, the tail on that could only be Alligator. And Alligator, who is a spectacular blocker, unfortunately that time going to get the short end of the stick with a penalty, going to end up in the penalty box. In the meantime, Black Velvet looking for some room. On the outside, going to come back inside. Oh, 2-wall doesn't get itself set up right in time, and she splits it quite easily, Nate.
That's right. And then you see when Spam went past, I like it when this kind of happens. One of her teammates gives her a push from behind to give her some extra speed.
Oh, Black Velvet. And she is going to land the apex jump. And the Vixens.
There it is.
And look at that. Nicely done. Vixens, of course, that 9-0 run helps in keeping a little bit of pad there between the two teams and the score.
That's right. They can't get late just because they're ahead. Doesn't mean they can kind of get lazy or.
No, you can't. You can't fall back and wait. 34-point differential right now, and that was 9 points picked up. A 9-0 run on that last. That's Blanche Devereaux out there at the moment.
Right, making her and Murderface, who we have not seen jam yet this evening.
Nope.
Is out there.
And Blanche with lead jam. Murderface not going to get through that pack as easily. Blanche telling them to go ahead and run. She's going to get by one, call it off, and she may or may not have gotten that done in time.
I don't know. I feel like I saw 1 point, but I'm not the one down there.
No, you didn't. You saw 3. It was a 3-1 run for the Quad Squad. And that's why, boys and girls, if you're if you're dreaming of being a roller derby player, you never stop until the whistles are all blown.
Yep.
In fact, it's a 4. They've updated it to a 4-1 run. So Blanche, who had everything under control, decided to grab a point, but she surrendered 4, unfortunately.
She's going to be starting this jam in the penalty box, leaving the Trickster out there to jam alone. The Trickster, of course, jamming for the quad
And the
squad.
Trickster jams alone. Somehow that sounds like a nursery rhyme.
Yep. I think, I think I was read that as a child.
Yeah, I don't think it was the Trickster. It might have been the Joker. I don't know. And there we see Nefarious out there for the Vaudeville Vixens. And with that, I tell you what, let's go to a commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm Bob Noxious with Assassinate from the Alliant Energy Center. You're watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls. And welcome back. I'm Bob Noxious with Assassinate. We're at the Alliant Energy Center with the Mad Rollin' Dolls. We are in the 3rd game of the season as you are watching the Vaudeville Vixens play the quad squad. Both teams vying for their potential positions in the semifinals, which will come up in April.
And just a moment ago, they had a shot of the audience. A couple previously in a previous shot, they had a shot of the couple alumni of the quad squad. KY Julie was there, as well as Dreamboat Fanny sitting up front.
Well, and as you see the shot of the crowd, you see that we are very family friendly, and we've had a good crowd here today. This is even though you're watching it tape, this is actually the second of a double header, and a lot of times the kids have a tendency to need to go to bed, and things thin out a little bit. But
it thins out a little bit, yeah.
We were about 1,500 to 1,700 strong when we got started here today. A really, really good crowd. Madison's so supportive of its derby community. Speaking of which, as long as we're on a timeout, a big announcement today, and that was that the Mad Rolling Dolls are moving forward with either the lease or purchase of their own facility. And
Vixens requested a review of the forum on their January at the end, what they call stands.
Okay, and we just got an update on that official review. The Vixens felt that the forearm that was levied against their jammer did not happen. The officials have congregated, talked about it, and rewind everything in their brain and said, yeah, we're pretty sure we saw it.
They rewatched the footage.
Yeah, it's gonna start again.
There's Shantastic McAwesome with their broken broken hand, from, as mentioned before, and now that it's been already on there.
No, it was a legit derby accident, and those things happen. I'll tell you, fingers. There's something about digits, isn't there?
Yeah,
Nate?
there is something about digits. Yeah, what happened was she got her finger caught in an elbow pad during a practice. That's the story.
It's sometimes it's very strange, and as you know, a lot of times they can be broken after you brace your fall and somebody potentially skates over them. And there we have number 9 out there for the quad squad, and that is going to be the Trickster. Trickster going to get knocked out of bounds, but that block is going to have been initiated out of bounds. So she's going to be able to continue. That is not a track cut.
Looks like there's some knee pad business going on there. Is it coming loose? I don't know.
No, you're right. It looks like there's some Velcro straps flapping in the breeze. But, of course, the nice thing about knee pads is at least you have the sleeve.
Right.
So, nice job there. Trickster's going to get through. She's put up 9 points already. And she's got the quad squad right now back within 21 points. The quad squad will not lay down and die, Assassinate.
That's right. This is exactly what they needed. This kind of just these not super huge jams, but I mean, although 9-10 point jams are huge, just a series of jams where they score more points.
Kind of these short bursts, and it's really been a boxing match, has it? Because for every punch, that the quad squad is dealt out in the second half. The Vixens have had a counter punch of a nice 1 or 2 jams to follow. But look at that. We are now within 16 points. I'm doing that in my head, and
Nice
I am
work.
so impressed.
You are doing a great
Yeah.
job. Maybe you should you should work for NASA. You might be too smart to be an announcer now.
Wow. In 13 years, that's the first time I've ever been accused of that. That's for sure.
All right. Once again, Blanche Devereaux starting in the penalty box. Is she? No, she's coming out.
Yeah, you can't see it from the shot, but you saw Alligator back there talking to her jammer. Actually, the rest of the pack is out there. They're just moved up forward a little bit. And it looks like they will slide back towards the jammer line. There's actually, you can actually see as this progresses, a second full line about 30 or 40 feet in front of the jammer line, which was infamously known as the pivot line at one time. The game was played quite a bit differently back then, but they can actually play quite a bit farther forward if they want to, and sometimes the strategy there is to get in stride and catch the jammer while they're up to speed.
Okay.
And here you see upset out there right now for the quad squad and shedding a block.
But Jocelyn Hell makes it through and
That's-
takes lead jammer.
Yep, that was Jocelyn that shed that block. Couldn't tell quite if that was her or Blanche at first. And Jocelyn, because her and Blanche actually such similar skating styles.
Well, and they did a trick. They did a shifteroo because Blanche was actually out there with the star on her helmet before the jam started, and then they switched.
And Jocelyn Hell going to get around out of bounds, and she's going to decide to call that one off. So once again, the Vixens going to counter punch with a 5-0 run and try to keep they're going to try to keep the quad squad at bay.
Quick, what's the difference?
21 points.
There it is. There it is.
21-point difference, and you know, it almost feels like if the quad squad could put consecutive good jams together, that's really what they're lacking.
Yeah, consecutive good jams. They're doing.
They seem to be doing damage control, but they're having a hard time of being consistent from a jam-to-jam basis. But you know, they've been down by almost as much as 60 points in this game.
That's right.
And now at 21 points, they are literally, you know, they could make that up literally within one jam.
They can do that. I guess let's talk about another sponsor. Let's pay another bill. The UW School for Workers. It's the oldest continuously operating university-based labor education program in the United States. One of the first operational components of the Wisconsin idea. The School for Workers, its faculty and staff have long brought these three components, teaching, research, and outreach, to thousands of workers, unions, and employers throughout Wisconsin, the nation, and the world.
And there we have the Vaudeville, who I think needs a little sugar injection.
Yeah. He looks like we got some delicious taffy during the halftime. Maybe he
Yeah,
should
we
get
did. Yeah, he should have gotten some of that because normally he's a pretty animated dude.
Yeah.
Joe is usually a pretty animated guy. He's right now. I think he's a little wrapped up in the game.
Yeah.
Once again, all of those seats filled when we got started here this evening with our first game of the doubleheader. Hey, David's taking pictures.
Dave
He is not. You don't call 911.
Busted, Dave.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, ask Hinkley for a screen grab on that. That's the way I want to remember Dave. Face down on the job.
Hey, there's my roommate Trent in the blue shirt. Hey, Trent.
He can't hear you, buddy.
I'm gonna make him watch this later, and he's.
KFC, Kentucky Fried Carnage.
That's right.
One of my favorite names here.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I do like that one.
Her bad squad name being Chick Chick Boom.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the same?
Yep. So we take a look at the leading scores at the moment. You see that on your screen. For the Vixens, it is number 32, Dalek Dahl, followed by Jocelyn L. And Dalek Dahl pretty much matched up by upset, depending on the emotion at the moment, with 52 points. And sometimes as an official, you just need to prevent cramps.
No.
I have no idea, or maybe that's his way of sitting. I just know my legs haven't worked like that for at least 10 years. And as we get started one more time, it's Dalek Dahl. Does she fence him on the inside? She is through.
She's through. Murderface also through.
Man, she was through that so quickly.
This is slippery floor, right? I feel like she's drifting a little bit around those.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of skaters lose their footing on occasion tonight. And of course, the great thing about flat track derby, if you're not familiar with it, you haven't followed it, is you can pretty much skate it anywhere.
Right.
The skaters and Nate here, as a skater, certainly knows all about this, but they adjust their wheels.
Yep. Each one of these skaters comes with multiple sets of wheels. Depending on what the floor is.
Exactly, because the weather has, you hear about it in racing and everything else, but the weather plays a role in whether it's cool or warm, and it's how slippery that concrete is.
Yep. Sometimes you have a polished concrete like this. Sometimes you have a wood floor.
Masonite, lots of different compounds. Of course, you practice on a synthetic floor.
We practice on a synthetic floor, which can get really sticky.
Yep. So I tell you, roller derby, having advanced the technology of roller skating so far in the last 15 years, it's unbelievable.
So 2002, huh? Is when flat track.
2001, I believe, is when Texas Roller Girls got started. And Madison was the fourth team in the nation at that time, in the world, I guess you could say, to have skated publicly. That was in 2004. The initial three teams were in the Southwest. Madison was the first one outside of the Arizona-Texas area.
And you were there to see it happen.
I was there to see everything that Madison did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started with Madison in 2004 and have been never really thinking that 13 years later I'd still be working at it, and would have had the terrific opportunity to be employed to do this all around the world. Mm-hmm. So it's been a pretty good gig, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, it's up until this, I never really got into sports, but this is a really fun one.
That's common, and there you go. And that's what happens when you ingest too much sugar or beer. We don't know which.
Yep. Speaking of sugar or beer, chocolate shop ice cream. This is the best ice cream made in Wisconsin, and it tastes so good because it has gobs of rich Wisconsin cream, tons of real ingredients for boatloads of luscious flavors. It means it's not low fat, low calorie, or low anything. That's why everyone loves it.
That's right.
You want nutrition, eat a carrot.
That's right. And both jammers out of the pack. There you can see Spammer Hammer Abby. She's gotten through. Black Velvet, not exactly sure what happened, but
I heard a lot of stadium noise.
I have a feeling there might have been. I wonder if her and Abby didn't collide. I shouldn't say collide. Hit each other.
You know, I was reading about chocolate shop ice cream. That's a really good ice cream, and I missed it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were just. Here we're going to see Hammer Abby comes out of turn 2 alone. I have a feeling that her and Black Velvet probably initiated some contact in turn 2 as Black Velvet all of a sudden disappeared. Here, on the other hand, you've got Blanche Devereaux.
That's right.
For the Vaudeville Vixen, she's up against that 3-wall up front.
Trickster up against a 4-wall in the back.
And you can see that 3-wall setting up and waiting.
This is tiring.
Radio Smacktive, big part of that. She's done a nice job. Neon has been fantastic.
Right. And she splashes through, but Allie says, hold up. And Blanche Devereaux says, I don't want to go back to the back of the pack and do that all again. I'm going to call it off.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna pause for a commercial. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. This is Bob Noxious. I'm sitting alongside this guy. He is Assassinate. We
That's
are
right.
at the Alliant Energy Center. We're watching a great game between the Quad Squad and the Vaudeville Vixens, as we have a 20-point difference with just about 10 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm. And yes, and like we've been saying, and I feel like we might be a broken record, but this could go either way.
At 20 points, this
Yeah.
is easily within reach.
Yeah.
For the Quad Squad. And certainly both of these teams really fighting. The Quad Squad really trying to kind of redeem their season, as they have gone winless, though they have played 2 very close games.
That's right. We've got.
Dumped to the inside of the track.
That's right. Sarah Fire skating for the Quad Squad gets cycled to the back. Jocelyn Hell is still working her way through, jamming for the Vixens.
And doing a nice job up front is going to be Whiskey Chaser, as she shuts the door down on Sarah Fire, who finds just a bit of a crease and then takes those quick footsteps on the toe stops to get through the little bit of space that she's got.
That's right. Whiskey Chaser she skated for Team Poland at the World Cup.
And we see Sarah Fire going to get dropped to the inside of the track. Once she's run out of bounds, she's got to come back in behind whoever dropped her. And as we mentioned before, and Assassinate skates and knows this, a lot of times you don't know exactly who hit you. So in many cases, we see that jammer come all the way back to the back of the pack.
That's right.
Just to make sure.
Quad Squad picks up 5 points, closing the gap even further. Like you said earlier, what we need for them to do is do it again and again and again. They need to not let the Vixens, especially at this point in the game, get many more points.
No, for every punch that the Quad Squad throws to get back in, the Vixens seem to be able to counter with another nice jam. And if they can string 2 or 3 together, it's going to be a tie. They're going to overtake the Vixens. And there we saw Dalekdahl looking like she had some space.
It looked like she had it, but then she went out. You're right. She went out of bounds and got cycled to the back, while Upset is still working her way through. It's like...
Yeah, Upset was looking to get through, and that's going to get closed off by Lemon Dropkick, who I've always enjoyed watching. Lemon Dropkick, really great awareness. And Dalekdahl, I don't know how she bounces off that shoulder.
Yep.
That block must have. Did she stay in bounds, or or was the block initiated out, or carried out of bounds?
I think she stayed in bounds. But
there we see, and of course, camera back on Upset. The pack just in front of her, and as they hit turns 1 and turns 2. There we see Lemon Dropkick in the middle of that, and they end up shutting Upset down. Dalekdahl still out there skating. The Vixens have put up 8 points. It's 8-0 so far in this jam. And Dalekdahl, look at that. Like I say, always looks like she's a little off balance.
Right.
But yet,
but she's not. She's just
no. It's just probably because of her height, and she skates a little straight up.
Sure.
And but boy, she can get that body turned around on top of those skates really quickly. Because you don't see her get dropped very often.
Really pulling back those jammers.
And Dalekdahl waving to the crowd, knowing that she's just had a nice 16-6 run.
That's right. That's not going to help. That doesn't help the quad squad.
Our 12-6 run as it's now being shown on the screen.
So
we're at 21-point differential, 7:21 remaining.
So it looks like she did stay in bounds on that from one shoulder to the next shoulder.
And interesting lineup on the jammer line with the Vixens as they all take the line except for one blocker.
Got the trickster in the back.
It was kind of a weird lineup because I'll tell you, Assassin, it looked like they would have expected her to slide behind the three of them.
Oh.
But that was my guess, but she takes the outside instead. And it works. She makes it work for her. And that's, in the end, that's all that really counts.
That's right.
So Black Velvet is your lead jammer. And Black Velvet right there going to get run out of bounds. She's going to call that off. I'm not so sure that Trickster doesn't pull points on that, though. Trickster you just saw her just barely on your screen come through on the inside. Sure enough, Trickster pulls 3 points. It turns out to be a 3-0 run in favor of the quad squad. 6:14 to go, and we are back within 22 points again. It's still a nail biter.
It really is.
If this was the last jam, and we still wouldn't say that anything was locked down for sure.
Right. This could be the very you're absolutely right. This could be the very last jam.
So there we go. We got Hammer Abby. You may know her as Spam. She is off to the races as your lead jammer. And it looks like Blanche Devereaux was trying to, she's either holding on to the star or going to try to pass it. But it doesn't matter because in the meantime, Spam has just put up 5 points as Blanche is now through the pack.
For the first time. Yeah, right. So
and you can see it, Hammer, who steps up that speed. She's going to crash. She's going to pull quite a few points there on that last pass. That's going to be 3 more they're going to indicate, and I wouldn't be surprised if that even changed to a 4th. Yeah, there we see Hammer Abby.
I think I see her hips pass. Or was that the first?
No, that just look at the way that she slides those hips in and out as she goes from outside to inside. Man, she had a crease. There wasn't even room for her skates to go through the 2 opponents, or it was actually one of her own players and her opponent. And she just kind of stepped right through it, didn't lose any of her momentum as we get started one more time. And this time we have, do we have upset out there again? Yes, we do.
Yeah, we have upset, and we've got Jocelyn Hell.
And upset as the 3 quad squad blockers take Jocelyn to the outside of the track. On really fighting for herself, upset gets through, but finds an open inside turn because of the blocking done by her team. And Jocelyn right now is stuck. But at the same time, upset not having pulled. She looks like she'll get a full pass here.
Yep.
That's going to be 4.
So that's another 5 points for the quad squad. So keep doing this, quad squad. We've got less than 4 minutes remaining.
And 11-point differential.
All right, what do we have here? We've got the Trickster, and we've got Dalek Doll. All right. Fight both.
And Dalek Doll is going to get through first.
Trickster took a pretty hard hit, that seemed like.
Dalek Doll, you know, one thing she does a really good job of is moving her upper body, getting those arms up and out of the way so that she can get through the blockers. Almost kind of like a swim move you would see off a defensive line in football.
Okay.
You got to get the arm up and get your body sideways to be able to get through the crease in the line. And because arms are a liability sometimes. And there you see her get spun around. That's probably the first time we've seen her lose her balance. And she goes on a 7-2 run, and we're down to 2 minutes 30 seconds with a timeout. And
yeah, that's right. Let's Just Coffee has 100% roasted organic fair trade coffee here in Madison, and they've been doing it for 15 years. They are proud to continue their long partnership with the Dolls.
yeah, they've been part of the Mad Rollin Dolls for an awfully long time. You know, the great thing about our sponsors is so many of the sponsors that we talk about, we've been talking about for all 13 years, or now in our 14th season.
It's amazing how what the impact on the community and that Derby has, and the loyalty, and everyone's supportive.
And Madison in particular has been terrific. I'll tell you, for as much as I wind up talking about Derby, I would say in the last 10 years, everybody seems to know that the Mad Rollin Dolls exist, if they've been there or not.
Yep.
And you need to come out and see a game. So many leagues talk about how their communities don't know they're there and all this kind of stuff. In Madison, it seems like everybody knows we are an entertainment option for them.
And these skaters are local celebrities. Like, I've heard people brag that they know people who skate roller derby.
Yeah, and as well they should.
Yeah.
These women have put in a lot of work. You're not looking, a lot of times these girls, these women that you're looking at didn't come in as athletes, but that's certainly what they transitioned into. Many of them not even really.
Oh man, that was awesome!
And you know what? You and I saw that coming.
I know.
We both saw. It was like I stopped talking because I knew. When that crease opened up, we knew that Hammer was winding up and putting it down. That
she dropped the hammer.
Is air hammer right there.
Yep.
That was awesome. Your beverage service was not at all disrupted on that one.
Seat backs and tray tables in an upright lock position.
Yeah, exactly. And after all that excitement, we get started again. And unfortunately for the quad squad, this jam is not going in their direction with only 1:09 remaining.
That's right. We've got Jocelyn Hell for the Vixens as taking lead jammer early on.
And you know, let's talk about this. Well, I'm thinking if Jocelyn was smart, she would run this out. Because at that kind of point differential, she could have held on to lead jam for as long as she wanted to.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
She should have let the clock run down. We have a period clock, which you see on your TV or on your screen, at 39 seconds. However, every jam will run for 2 minutes. So even though we're going to start another jam, that's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes now that she's just given. And, you know, I'm not placing don't mean this as placing blame, but by stopping that, it allows the quad squad to then take 2 minutes that they wouldn't have had.
Sure, right, exactly.
Even if you gave up points, even if you gave up a full pass, if she could have killed the 39 seconds, she could have stopped it at any time.
Stopped it, yep.
And of course, that comes from the bench, of course, as well. But from a time management standpoint, I think the priority there probably should have been to kill the clock.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Let's see. We saw some kids earlier. As we mentioned, this is a family-friendly event, and I like that there's space for the kids to run around too.
Yep. And we're appreciative of the fact that they all end up going home with the right, with their parents.
With the right, yep.
Don't leave them behind because,
I bet you this is a great way I don't have kids, but I bet you this is a great way to wear them out.
Oh, I'll tell you, I've done my due diligence in raising two to adulthood. So, I've enjoyed it. Being a father is the best job in the world, but now that it's going to come to, I guess you never stop being a dad.
Sure.
But now that
But
They
now
don't
you're
have
just
to be
on
in
call.
line.
Now you're just on call.
Exactly. That's
Yep.
a good way to put it.
Yep.
That's right. I'm more of a, I become the obligatory emergency guy.
Sure. Dad, can I borrow some money?
And that's okay.
Yep. All right. This could.
I talk smart, but that's why I coach soccer for kids, because I never stop being a kid. All right, we get started here one more time, and we got Hammer Abby back out there, and I'll tell you, Nate, that's exactly what you do.
Yep.
You put your strongest player back out on the floor. We have seen Abby ruin people's games a number of times, including the Vixens' potential championship last year.
Yep.
As it was Hammer Abby that single-handedly in the last 4 jams brought them into the lead to win that game. And I'll tell you, Dalek goes down, but I think she was clotheslined. Yeah, that's gonna
there was
be a
some
forearm there. And Alligator doing a nice job out there up against Dalek Doll.
You can use your shoulders, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But once they call arms penalty sticks. Once those get involved,
Yeah.
then
And
that's a no-no.
Of course, Hammer's going to run this thing as long as it's going to go. There's not going to be any stopping. She needs to put. Right now, Vixens have matched points. Credit to the Vixens because the defense is stiffened up. They've kept all 4 blockers out on the track, and now Dalek Doll is actually the jammer in the lead and has actually put up more points than Hammer.
And Hammer's tired.
Oh, there's a swing. Yeah, because that's a swing and a miss. That's just kind of one of those desperate shots you hope you're going to land. And more times than not, they wind up just as that one did. Dalek Doll right here knows the situation is in no hurry to make this thing stop.
If this wasn't the last jam, I bet you Hammer Abby would have called it. Because she's tired.
Yeah, she does look like there may not be much gas left in the tank. And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
We have the game.
we finish on a 15-12 run by the Vaudeville Vixens, who are now 2-1 and will become the number 2 seed. So we do know that in April, the semifinals will be the Reservoir Dolls versus the Quad Squad and the Unholies and the Vaudeville Vixens.
And those will be great games.
Yeah, they will be terrific games, even though the Quad Squad has yet to win. Most of their games, or all of their games, have all been within a jam of tying or winning.
Yeah, this is a prime example of that. And you know what? I got to give lots of props to the Quad Squad for bringing it back as far as they did after the half.
No, you're absolutely right.
Did they make? They were at less than. They were in the. So they got 100 points during this half.
Yeah, they did.
At least 100 points. The Vixens were at 112 or 115 or something.
It was about a 60-point. It was about a 50 or 60-point difference.
So if the game just consisted of this half, Quad Squad would have won.
Yeah. So Quad Squad definitely wins the half, but the Vixens continually kept shutting the door. We saw the Quad Squad get within, I believe it was 11 points, was as close as it had gotten in the second half. And to the Vixens' credit, they kept it. They never really questioned it. They didn't give up on themselves. Didn't take a lot of timeouts.
Right.
They just kept their composure and finished the game playing their game.
That's right.
And that's exactly the way. That's the way you draw it up on the chalkboard.
Yep.
It doesn't always work that way, but when you've got when your team has great heart and great morale, you never lose your confidence. And so, congrats to the Vixens on a terrific win. Congrats to Quad Squad for a terrific effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 more spectacular games here today. Once again, we want to make sure that you get down to see us at the Coliseum. I believe that is Saturday, April 7th, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, look it up on MadRollandDolls.com or
That's right.
MadisonRollerDerby.com.
Yep, both of those work.
Yep, and you'll find us there. And thanks for joining us. I'm Bob Noxious alongside Assassinate.
Yep.
And we are going to bid you adieu and wish you a nice rest of your evening.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.